This episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com, Authentic Muay Thai Lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of Nak Muay. Go check it out. So Wadi Kop, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. So Wadi Kop, guys. It's Kru Jonathan over at Pu'u Muay Thai for the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. I got Coach Ralph and Coach Josh here today. Just going down and talk about a little bit Muay Thai training. What's up, Dylan? We also have Instagram Live on here, so if you guys are watching this on iTunes or if you're watching this anywhere else, you're going to see that basically I'm going to be giving some shout-outs for people that are coming in on Instagram, maybe answering some questions. Cool, we got a couple people coming in, Sheer Overcombe, Robert the Iron Lion, so we got Mike Rose from Tomahawk Barbershop in the house, the unofficial, official barbers of Pu'u Muay Thai, as we like to say, right? Do you get cut there, Ralph?
I do.
Yeah, Tomahawk Barbershop, and I know you do.
For sure.
What's up, Lumina? So, coming on today is August 16th, 2020. We're also testing out some video stuff, too, see if that turns out. But training week, how'd your training week go, Josh?
Productive.
Yeah. What about you, Coach Ralph?
Good.
Yeah,
a lot of people in.
Yeah, a lot of people coming in to train. We had outdoor training yesterday. Oh, look, you got Mr. Gillies right there. He's done watching his BBW videos.
The Welshman.
The Welshman. Okay. What does BBW mean?
Yeah, you know what? I've heard a handful of different things. I don't think we can say it live on the podcast.
Okay, we can't say it live. All right, got Mr. Soznicki in here too. Got Andrea. Cool. All right, Miss Baeza. So, what have you been doing to work around your knee?
Just moving it, really, icing it. It's kind of one of those situations where I feel like it's been injured for 2 years, hasn't really always recovered. Mm-hmm. So in the past, when I've had that like false sense of hope, thinking like, oh, it's recovered now, I've always just kind of kept on it with a little bit of weight training.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of finally like on its, no pun intended, on its last leg.
Or pun fully intended.
Yeah, exactly. So no, a little bit, here and there. Just moving around.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's one of those things I just have to, like I said, get that steel cup infused in there. And
definitely.
Did you get the steel cup infused?
Steel cup infused, that Iron Man knee.
Iron Man knee.
Tink tink.
Oh man. So you have it's an ACL and MCL tear?
No, it's a torn meniscus.
Torn meniscus
on the inside, and then a torn ACL.
And a torn ACL. And you're waiting for your orthopedic, correct?
Yeah.
To get in touch with them. What's up, Coach Ryan? So, man, that happened, what was it, the last sparring session that was with Mr. Montijo, right? Where that was like the straw that broke the camel's back?
Yeah, and it was also kind of one of those things, too, where I think I was just very ambitious to kind of jump right into it because we hadn't had the doors open in like 2 months.
Yeah.
So I've been hitting my bag, I've been like exercising in my living room, and then finally it's like, hey, come in and spar. I'm like, hell yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. And then, it's kind of one of those, like, I think I'd heard it before sparring the last time we were actually open. Mm. So within that couple months of rest and icing, I'm like, okay, it's good now, fine, jump all over it, and then, things happen. But
yeah.
It was sooner or later it was going to happen again.
Generally, we say don't kick people in the knee, but you're the one instance where that's the spot.
I'm the example of the class whenever I'm teaching. I'm like, don't kick people in the knee because this is what happens. So it's just, like I said.
People have to take that example, though, and, like, really understand it. I feel like when you say stuff as, like, a coach, it's funny, like, we'll cover stuff. Like, let's say you say, don't kick people in the knee, and then next thing you know, someone's teeping you in the knee that night.
Yeah.
Do you feel that too, Josh?
No, not much. I haven't experienced that.
I like, just throughout the years, I don't know if it's, like, certain people, if they're just tired, it's, like, the end of the day.
Probably that.
Yeah, it doesn't typically it doesn't happen in, like, Saturday morning classes.
Yeah.
No, I feel like the way we used to have it, especially like on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I think I remember I asked you about this too, it is like the part of the point of the sparring was getting people tired enough to where they're not like having enough energy to completely bomb on each other, but then the drawback to that is like, okay, lazy teeps, lazy punches, like you hit the wrong areas, but
Yeah, the accuracy of when you're punching, I feel, and like kicking, practicing with your knees, that's something that you're practicing on the pads, drilling.
Yeah.
So it's of course you might have a kick like slide up and hit you in the groin. Like I was sparring with Kru Jonathan the other day, and like he kicked me in the dick twice. Like he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, but he hasn't sparred in 6 months.
Right.
He hasn't done anything in 6 months, and he's 60 years old. So like
that happened to me today as well. I got kicked straight in the dick.
Oh. I got kicked in the dick too. Coach Giovanni kicked me straight in the dick. Yeah, that didn't feel good.
my barber gave.
Mike kicked you straight in the dick.
I probably deserved it though.
So, I feel like I'll be like, yeah, guys. What I want you to focus on is like, maybe teeping like the solar plexus. Like I want you right in the middle of the body.
That's what I do.
And next thing you know, like. I'm like, hey, just teep your solar plexus. And then next thing you know, they're teeping the knee. I'm like, hey, like let's not teep the legs. Just go for the solar plexus. To aim for the hips. And they're like, but I thought you said not to aim for the solar plexus. I'm like, how tired are you? Like, how much information did I cram in your head today that caused that kind of like?
Well, not only that, but if the week before you were like, hey, let's practice teeping the thigh, then it's like, oh, well, I thought you said it was okay.
Yeah.
The aim is just way off.
Yeah. Well, teeping the thigh. And going for like all the different targets you have with your teep, it's important. But it's also important sometimes. Maybe you hurt somebody in the body, and you're like, hey, I want you to just aim for that. And if like maybe you could have knocked the wind out of them a little bit more, taken the gas out of them by just hitting those specific points. Or maybe their leg is tired and they're falling all over the place. I was just watching a fight with my wife the other day. We were watching her trainer, Fatima Pinto from Norway. She's fighting against, oh man, what's her name? Glory fighter, Anissa Mexen. It was a Muay Thai fight, and Fatima totally tore like every ligament in her knee. She felt weird in the clinch, and we're like, let's watch it to see if we can like find out where it happened. And you see it, she falls, and then she's like not moving after that.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, but you talk about like, somebody's like that, like, hey, just teep towards the thigh because they can't move it.
Right.
Yeah, you can just control them like that. So learning like those strategies and being coached on that kind of stuff, it feels like really, really important. Oh man, we got a couple of people watching in here too on Instagram Live. If you guys don't follow us currently too, make sure to go follow us at Pu'u Muay Thai on Instagram and on TikTok. You may or may not see me twerking on there. Yeah, doing some hand dances and stuff like that. But definitely go check us out on there. Some good content. You can see we do some of our video breakdowns that I post on YouTube and on Instagram. It ends up there first. And if it does well there, I'll like repost it over onto Instagram and YouTube. So if you guys want to get like the first unfiltered insight into that kind of stuff, you can see that there too. So Josh, you guys had classes outside yesterday at, where was it at?
Ventura High.
At Ventura High School yesterday. Where at Ventura High was it?
Right in the front. In the front, like lawn park area, you can see it straight. That way, we could see if people didn't get our message. If they're coming to the front door, which at least 3 people, including one of staff, did not get the memo. So Trayvon came and got Luke and Aries. Like, hey, we're over here. Like, so.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we have a Trayvon, so everybody got over there to train. And Tomas, and I utilized fucking Jesse as well. He ended up stepping in as an assistant, a coach
for the kids. Right?
Yeah, we needed him.
Extra holder.
Yep.
Got it.
So I talked to parents, new students.
Sweet. So that if for those that don't know our location, we're on Main Street in Ventura. And the high school is directly across the street, which was good when the high school was there. We get a lot of traffic, but right now. It's not the best location given the circumstances.
Yeah.
But so we've been forced to go outside, and so we began being outside, and it's really funny. It's like dog poop, homeless people defecating themselves and stuff like that around the area. It's like, man,
upside down land.
Yeah, you guys want us outside by this, and like the city's been telling us like, well, yeah, like. I don't know.
Don't catch coronavirus. You're gonna get parvo instead.
Parvo. Oh, parvo. Don't. For those that don't know that, you basically get like severe diarrhea and you basically shit yourself to death. Do you?
Yeah, that was pretty.
I've been around that parvo. I did not. Yeah, I didn't. It's okay, man. But like, we're just trying to navigate all that stuff. Has been
a logistic nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Nightmare.
Well, and yesterday, that's like, for me, like, people are like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, dude, I had nothing to do with that. Like, that was all the team. That's you, Trayvon,
Tomas.
Coach Tomas,
Yep.
leadership with Jesse and everything, too. So I'm just really grateful for that. I want to give you a shout out for that. And Trayvon and Jesse. I know I gave him a shout out on Instagram yesterday. But just dealing with this whole craziness of coronavirus and everything like that, too. And for anybody that's watching this, like, we've all been exposed to each other, and he works from home. Coach Ralph works from home. This is my brother, so even with that said, like, seeing how the government's been pushing, like, for bars and all this stuff to be open, like the city of Ventura pushing for, like, alcohol sales.
Yeah.
That's
It's gone up like literally 200-something%. It's literally, I keep saying it, we're in phase 2 or the roaring 20s again, and we have alcohol sales and drug stuff to prove it. The decadence only. It's our society's being, I don't even know what.
what do you mean by that, by the roaring 20s again? Because there's like alcohol and drugs.
Alcohol, drugs, decadence, debauchery, just weird upside down land, lack of morals, psychosis in public with all the Karens, people not taking care of their mental, physical health. We're non-essential, but freaking alcohol and drugs, that's cool. That's just way up.
Yeah, and it's like even my big gripe with it is that our local government is pushing that stuff too.
Yep.
Our gyms open like 24-hour fitness goals,
No,
gyms. We'll answer that in a second here, Dre. But going over to like the city, there's been no support for anybody except for downtown businesses.
Yeah, and even training here has felt like it's Prohibition era. We're
Yeah.
like, close the doors, we're open, we're not open, but...
Speakeasy.
We're not open, closed, or we're going outside.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. So
You're damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't.
yeah. But the big thing is like Visit Ventura. They're like, they're supposed to be for all of Ventura for tourism. Man, I had people set to come here from like Europe to come train with us for like 2 weeks during the day and do like some instructor training and stuff. And I was like, talk about bringing commerce and being tourism. It's like, hey, we're bringing Muay Thai tourism, like the stuff you see in Thailand, where we're gonna do here.
Right.
Speakeasy Muay Thai from Phil.
Yep.
But they're pushing there's people like there's breweries like Poseidon, Topa Topa. I asked them like, hey, is Topa Topa really doing that bad? They have like giant brewery. They have a bunch of different restaurants. They're distributed in all the liquor stores. Vaughn.
Did they close over here? Somebody told me they actually closed their location.
No, they're open the other day. I saw people there. They might have closed temporarily when there's like the initial shutdown.
Yeah.
But going on to we had a question on our Instagram from Dre617. All the places are closed unless they're moved outside currently, Dre. So if they don't have an outdoor area, then they're closed. 24-hour fitness I know is closed. Gold's Gym. I don't know if there's Gold's Gym around here. It's World.
They opened a one up over by I think it was where Home Depot is.
By Home Depot, really?
Yeah,
In
so
Oxford?
that's a Gold's. The one that Gia works at is World Gym.
World.
But that used
Okay.
to be a Gold's.
Got it. So unless I know World Gym is outdoors, we're doing outdoor stuff too, doing what we can, just to be able to keep that going. But like I said, there's no support, and it's just like the only health message you're getting from government. Like, and it's funny because they're like, oh, we're all about community, we're about doing this health in the community, and then the only health message they give is wear a fucking mask.
Yeah.
Stay away from everybody.
Propaganda.
Don't go out. It's like, hey, that's cool. Like, yeah, you want to promote that stuff, but also like promote like, hey, make sure to exercise. If you're feeling down the dumps, here's the mental health hotline. If you're experiencing domestic abuse, domestic violence, call this line. Because one of the things that's going up really high was like the suicide rate.
Well, everybody's been stuck inside all day.
Yeah.
Like literally, people are going stir crazy.
Like,
and, there's
they're
no-
working from home. Imagine if you didn't have like family and stuff in the area too, and friends. But for me, I know I would go stir crazy because for me, I'm lucky. Like we have the Muay Thai Academy, and I can come train here.
Yep.
Well, apparently not, because they came by and put the notice to close on our door while me and my wife are in here.
Signed by our overlord, Dr. Levin, who should have been removed a long fucking time ago.
Well,
Pardon, friend.
that's another thing. You know what? I actually went up there. We were in Ojai the other day just to see what the deal is with this winery. I put the address in, but it's just like a residential place. It's like a farm.
Yeah.
You can't really go out to it. But I was just curious about it. But it's super nice. He was back in like Miners Oaks, where the end of the road winery is at.
Oh yeah.
There was some big deal about like wineries being able to be open, but bars weren't allowed to be if they didn't have outdoor seating, but wineries could. Yeah, and there was like a big thing this year here in the city of Ventura. They had a place. It was a winery and a brewery. I can't remember what the names of them were, but the winery was allowed to be open. The brewery couldn't, and they had the same exact setups. Coach Rouse making a funny face.
Yeah. If you can't see my face, I'm like.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, man.
But it's, you know what though, this county, like you said, it's always been their thing. Their cash cow is DUIs. Cash cow is raking that tourist attraction so that you can say, come on vacation, leave on probation.
Yes.
Yeah. I told some people that, is that really a thing? I'm like, yeah, dude, go Google it.
Yeah, if you go to one of those classes, they tell you that as well.
Yeah, come on vacation, leave on probation.
Yeah.
I really want to see them push like some of these, fitness things that they're doing. There's the people down there at Boss Fitness are doing this like free online training stuff.
It's called Fitness, right?
Ventura, Boss Fitness.
Yeah, those guys are awesome.
They're doing the Ventura Fitness Collective, which is cool. She reached out to us, Stephanie Potter, or it's not Potter anymore. I forget her husband Mario's last name. But we're in elementary school together. I remember like we're all sitting at the same table, and like all of us at the same table, we have high standards now. We had to be successful. But she started that. She reached out to us when this whole thing shut down, but we were already doing our online university stuff.
Yeah.
But they're doing they did free online training for the whole community, like we were doing for Muay Thai for everybody. And it's been really cool to see these different programs come up and these people that are pushing for the community health and wellness. Because if we're not advocating for that stuff, then no one else is.
Yep.
Yeah, no one else is going to. And on top of that too, I think self-defense right now is probably one of the most vital things outside of that as well. Is the ability to defend yourself, or at least having the confidence to feel like you could fuck someone up if you needed to. I know that I could kick my ass from now than when I first started Muay Thai.
Well, and anymore too, that's all you see like on the internet is just confrontation amongst people.
Yep.
That's
conflict.
All you see is like, people getting in people's faces over like the most like frivolous of shit, and it's like, really?
Like we're gonna do that right now?
Yeah. And then everybody's got their cell phones out, like it's getting recorded.
Oh yeah. And well, the fact is like, what is it? They call it like the bystander effect or something like that. Yeah. Like people don't want to step in and say something. It's like, hey, if you're in a situation where that's happening, like just say something. Hey, stop that, dude.
Yeah.
Just like we teach our kids. Sorry, pardon me.
And our theme of the month is still integrity, because the society at large needs to hear it again and again and again since the shutdown.
What is integrity?
Integrity? Well, the way we teach it to kids, simple, and we should probably teach it to adults this way too. It's doing the right thing, not the right thing, but the right thing, even when nobody else is looking. I have an example that I shared with the kids recently. I was in a freaking gas station, right? All right, I was paying for my gas for my motorcycle. All right, there's like $50 in this little container. Like 3 people walked past it. Nobody said a damn thing. I go to the front and I brought the container up. I was like, there's a bunch of cash here. What's going on? I was like, and I turned it into the person at the cashier counter. She's
Somebody
like,
left $25 in this bucket.
It was like $50, bro, at least. And I handed it over, and she's like, I'll check the video camera for it. But a bunch of people walked past, didn't see it, but doing the right thing regardless. Like, you could have
you could have just taken it.
Yeah, of course.
And that's where it goes into like just nobody's watching. Just like you said, do the right thing. That's integrity, straight up, plain simple.
Yep.
There's been so many like opportunities where like I've worked at businesses like not just in the martial arts industry where they definitely they lacked integrity, and in martial arts too. Yep. And that was like the biggest like smack in the face to seeing how some martial arts businesses are ran. And it showed me like, oh well, I know what I'm not going to do when I'm running a place, that's an invaluable experience. Someone else paid me to learn that. You know?
Right.
So, but with of course the shutdown stuff's been really like, I guess crazy dealing with from like the business end.
Yeah.
You know, like we all stayed training, like all the coaches stayed training and stuff during that time. But did you read my book?
I did.
You read it? What do you think of it?
I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I laughed at some of the little like takeaways that like when you put in the training gear the Vagisil for aches and pains. I was like, dude, how did nobody not catch this yet? Like, it's hilarious.
I asked a couple people like, was it Jeremy? I was like, hey, did you read the books? Yeah. I'm like, cool. Do you have all the equipment? He's like, yeah. I'm like, Okay, then show it all to me. And he didn't have Vagisil. I'm like, he's like, oh, I thought that was a joke. I'm like, yeah, it is, dude. But he said he had all of it, and he said nothing. Oh, it's Mr. Estrella. What's up, Jesse? Thanks again for helping out the other day, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Mr. Estrella, he's over here on Instagram. But seeing like the book, have you read it?
Yeah, I've only braced through it, and I saw that you suggested people do LSD. I mean, long, slow
distance running. Yes, LSD stands for long, slow distance, and I talked about that in there. I really feel like that. Yeah, where there's a training running program for people, because like when I first started, it was like, oh, you need to run. It's like, what does that mean?
Right.
Like,
follow me on Instagram. Just copy what I do.
Go run 20 miles.
Yeah, or longer.
I really feel like those basics. It's funny, like my friend Travis, like I still haven't read your book, but it says for your first Muay Thai fight. I'm like, well, you still need it. He's like, oh man,
Professional fighter.
Yeah, he still needs it. But the thing is, with it, it's supposed to be like, if I could add like a subtitle to it, it would be like training for your first Muay Thai fight and everything after. Or something in that regard, because it's really like a fundamental guide for building like a baseline of like what your minimum should be.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of mental that comes with that training that you kind of hold on to, and that's where your like training kind of comes afterwards. Where like, oh, okay,
I can
like,
push harder.
I know how to put myself into this like zone to get what I want done.
Yeah, it's really important.
And that's where like Chris Ralph, you went to Thailand. Josh, you're in Thailand. It's like the intention behind the training is different, right?
Right.
Definitely.
Because they're training for their money, their livelihood. It's for money. It's their job. It's like you go to work, Amgen. We work here. It's like it's work. It's your job. It's what you're gonna do, and you're gonna focus it that way because it's like, hey, this is for them. That's what pays the bills.
Right.
For most people here, it's just for fun. It's like we're able to do it as recreation, self-defense. It's an additional recreational activity, as opposed to. For them, it's going to be, hey, like, rather than going to go work at McDonald's or go work at, like, a construction job, they're going to go fight Muay Thai and train in Muay Thai and see how they do.
Their demeanor is way different, though, because they're really driven, as opposed to when people clock into a job here, a regular day job, they're just like, oh, well, I'm just collecting my money hourly.
I feel like that could be due to the American work ethic, though.
Yeah.
So, like, in, like, Asia, I was watching, there was a documentary, I can't remember what it was called, but it was about a Chinese manufacturer that was making windshields.
Okay.
And then they expanded to the U.S. They took over like this whole Ford manufacturing plant. They tried to keep all the employees here, and they moved a bunch of people from China over here to train them on like the Chinese method of doing it. And there's like the Chinese people like, hey, like Americans just don't want to work. They won't work as hard as us. They're just slower. Not as high intense. But the thing is, for those Chinese people, that's literally their livelihood for the whole family back in China.
Yeah.
Like that was their profession, is doing this.
The reason why, right?
Their why is different. And again, it's the intention behind what they're doing. Mm-hmm. The intention is, if I don't do this, my family's going to starve and die.
Right.
My wife's probably going to have to go into prostitution, or we end up having to do like human trafficking. We talked about that. We did some fundraising for human trafficking here at the academy. And I like, it's funny, someone actually called us out. It's like, hey, like, they thought we were going into like this stuff called like QAnon. I'm not going to go into it too much because they had an article. I could send it to you. But like, that's not what the intention of like us doing fundraising for that stuff is. And I'm actually going to, we were doing 10% of our Eat Sleep t-shirts to that. But like the reason I talk about human trafficking is because like that can be a legit thing that people have to get involved into when you're in severe poverty. Like maybe you end up being one of the people that's going to go be part of like that slave labor, modern day slaves.
Wow.
And that by that person working their ass off is going to prevent that from happening for their family. So same thing in Thailand for the fighters. Like some of them, you don't know like how big the family is back in the countryside.
Yeah.
Like the guys at Kitikam Torn, the kids, like we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know the kids. They don't
Especially
speak.
some of them are like as young as like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, these kids are in here and like grinding it out, and like you said, that mentality to get into the ring, like I'm gonna eat or you're gonna eat.
Yep. Exactly, and that's where, like I said, going into the human trafficking stuff is like, we did a donation drive using our Eat Sleep t-shirts. I was just gonna give 10%, but I'm going to see what we can give and definitely give more than 10% because we didn't sell that much, and I wanted to make it a more substantial donation.
I meant to buy one already. I didn't know it was already done.
It's okay. Yeah, it ended on Friday. But our big thing on it, you can still donate to CAST Los Angeles. I'm going to order some extras. But you can still donate directly to CAST Los Angeles. That's the Coalition to Abolish Slavery and Trafficking. So for those that don't know, you hear about child trafficking. Talk to you about you guys too, because for me, it's about bringing awareness to it. You know, like I put stuff on there, and people are like, "That's great, you're doing it for a couple of days." Like, no, we've been doing this for a couple of months actually.
Right.
Like working with CAST Los Angeles, and not saying there's not better organizations, there's not other good organizations. It's just they're doing the good work right now that I like. Right. So we might change to a different organization later, depending, because I've seen it a lot. Like nonprofits, they grow and then they end up losing sight of the original message. Just like any business too. Yeah. You know, they can grow and then they change. It's okay. So, but that's who we're backing right now, and I highly encourage. I'll put a link in the show notes if you guys want to donate to them directly and stuff too. But I really feel like the human trafficking stuff. They were saying like, I follow a couple of this group called A21, and they put out some basically facts on human trafficking, and right now, at any point in history, in human history. There's more slaves now than ever at any point in human history. Modern. That's kids, teens, adults, men, and women.
That's wild.
So $150 billion profitable industry. Profit.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
The fact that you said profitable scares me.
Yeah, it's like how much money?
How much money is like?
That's what they're profiting off of people.
Yeah, because with drugs, you just sell it once, and that's the sale. But with people, you sell them multiple times.
And you keep making money.
Fracturing their soul and what's left of it.
It's messed up. But that's like, and that's the double-edged sword. Like people talk about Muay Thai for kids in Thailand, and like, oh, it's child abuse. It's like, well, they could be doing a lot. There's other worse fates for them than where they're at.
Become lady boy to provide for your family, all of this other stuff, right?
Yeah, they have the third gender there, and they could get sex change and go through all that stuff if they had to. Yeah. And that wasn't what they wanted to do, or they could be forced into it too. Whether it be by financial means or through manipulation. So, to get off out of that hard topic there.
On a lighter note.
Yeah, on a lighter note. What do you guys feel has been like I guess, as coaches coming up, what do you think has been like the biggest hurdle for new students that come in? Like they've been training for 3 weeks. What have you guys seen?
I think just even with our kind of soft reopening, the hardest part I've seen is having just a solid amount of people to work with. I know when our classes are packed, we're always doing a lot of rotations, so they're always getting a lot of influence from other students. Hey, hold the pads this way.
Symbiosis.
This way. Exactly. And so you have less of that because it might be you might have like an odd man out. Hey, start on the bag, and I'll work in with you. But there isn't that like general knowledge of having everybody in here to kind of move around with.
Like that have like the more advanced people in the fundamentals classes rotated.
I know a lot of I think it was last week I had Jeff, Puddles, Jesse, Phil were like helping me out, and they were it was amazing to actually see that like, oh okay, yeah, he's new, I'll pair up with him, he'll pair up with you, and then they were just kind of guiding me through the whole thing. Hey, this is the combination. No, let's work on this part of the kick. And just going slow and being able to kind of take that time with them in an actual class.
Yeah, and that's like been the hardest thing is with that cohorting is like you can't switch partners,
right?
You know? And that makes sense of it being like one of the harder things to deal with as a coach. It's almost like, well, it's like you're building two beginners together and they're holding for each other.
Yeah,
it's freaking hard. And you're not doing for us, for those of you that are watching out there, we do like switches like every round or so. To get a new, fresh feel and maybe get a more advanced student.
Pre-shutdown.
Yeah, pre-shutdown. So that's what we would do before, but now we haven't been doing that, and it's hard. Yeah. So, that's good to know. I would say like the biggest like thing with that, because you have a class size 10 people, right? Like, so what I would typically do in that situation is maybe like, hey, I'm gonna look at the curriculum, say, hey, maybe we're just gonna practice that part.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Because if you have, it's like, hey, we have all new people. There's no intermediate advanced people in here in this class that they can work with, and have two new people. So we're just gonna work on like a jab and a rear body kick because that's part of the combination on the curriculum that day. and just modify it, and then or if it's like, if you have two groups and one's more advanced and one's not, like more advanced, maybe they're a couple months in, that one's brand new, it's like, hey, we're going to modify it for you, you're just going to practice this. Hey, you guys are going to practice the whole thing, you guys are just going to practice this piece.
Got it.
And then it just allows you to chunk it up a little bit more, and that's how you build people. It's just about chunking it out, and then if they get it, like, hey, if you want to challenge yourself, you can try those other things too. But like, let's work on mastering those basics first.
Yeah.
So.
But the plus thing too is that we've been new students.
Oh yeah,
everything else is closed though, so I feel like almost every day I get somebody new in.
Yeah,
so
we had a lot of people who've contacted us and reached out, like even with outdoor training. People were very interested. They're just like, hey, like, you guys train outdoors? Yes, you guys can come train with us and get started with a trial. It's people who've had experience, people that didn't. We've had a good mixture of people that have come through our doors during this time.
Yes, we've had at least one other student I can think of that did have some experience and is also a Krav Maga instructor.
Yeah. So it's was that kid Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So seeing like that people are ready to come back. I was just on like one of the Muay Thai community forums for like academy owners in the U.S. People are like, hey, there is light at the end of the tunnel, because they're in a region that's fully opened up. It's like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, because during the shutdown, I was like, are people going to come back?
Right.
That was the thing.
Yeah, because business is not a freaking faucet. You can't just turn it on and turn it off again.
No.
So it's like an arc. You have your casual customers, people coming, and then you get a momentum when the government says, all right, shut down, and then it might just never turn back on.
The economy is an arc.
Yeah.
When you start, like, a new country forms and they start building their currency, if you think of it, like, I was reading a book, and they talked about, like, if you're shooting a missile, a ballistics missile, you have the gear where the missile shoots off from, and you have the actual missile. So when you shoot off a missile, you're going to measure the impact that missile launching had on the launch pad.
Right.
Like, what the kickback was, what fell apart, what cracked, what broke, what did really well and did better than you expected. And then the better that arc is, that it starts off with, the better the launch, then the longer that arc is going to last for. So, like, the US dollar, for instance, like, it could be on the way down. I'm not an economist, but it's like, they use this analogy. It's like, hey, the U.S. economy, it started weak and it gets stronger, and at some point, just like every civilization does in history, that currency starts going down, and it's just an arc, and it eventually crashes. And what people do is they go look at how they built their launch pad and how they got started and how they built their economy, and it allows you to really see that happen. So when you say use it, like, business is like an arc, it's like it has to keep going. It's the same thing, because we're riding that arc behind it. We're on the tail of it, and It's been really tough, man. Like, my brother's seen me, like, I've smashed some shit. I'm like, during shutdown, I was pissed.
Yeah, rightly so.
Yeah, and
rightly fucking so.
And like, I cried. I had anxiety attacks, depression. All the, like, just being straight up with everybody. I rode the waves of shutdown for sure.
Yeah.
And that's with having, like, a support group. So I can't imagine what's like not having a support group.
Yeah.
And going through that. Like, I feel for everybody out there.
Well, and being a small business owner that doesn't get literally any response from any of the officials. It's like, hey, I'm in this gray area that, nobody's responding to me. I've got a business to run, and,
Well, that was the thing, is, like, our city council, I was talking to them, they're like, oh, we're going to set up a meeting with you. Like, we're going to have this other person set up a meeting with you who's not on city council. It's like, hey, like, it's cool, but the person that wanted me to set it up, I totally respect them. They're a great person. And I actually gave them props to the city council. I'm like, hey, this is like, how come this person's not on city council?
Right.
But I'm like, but they're not the person who's in charge. You are. I want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. And I set times for them, and they don't get back to me. And I'm like, hey, I have this idea, and they don't get back. I'm like, well, okay, I'm just going to do it.
That's frustrating.
Because, that's why we end up just going outside.
Yeah, that's my philosophy for a lot of it, personally, is I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission, because things are so dysfunctional in society, and there's so much evidence of that. It's like, dude, if you're waiting for somebody to say, okay, dude, you might just be gone already,
I'm like, I can't, if we would just wait and, like, not operate it, not, like, figure out a way to pivot out of it, and actually did, like, the government, what they want you to do, man, we'd still be closed. We probably would have been like, hey, I'm closing my business, and we've had a fucking breakdown.
Yeah, I heard the new, we got it for another safety measure. I don't know if this meme is correct, but I saw Dr. Fauci was saying that you have to start wearing a big black dildo on your forehead, and for safety, for public health safety.
Is that for the distancing?
Yeah, that too.
You know, I saw some creative distancing hats. Did you ever see the one with the guy with the pool noodles that crossed over on his head?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Like, I actually want one of those, like 6 feet back, motherfucker.
Just modify the belly pads. Just start putting pool noodles in
Put
the
bowls
end.
on them. You know, Josh shared it was a song. It was like, wear a mask if you want. It was based on like the safety dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually it was so good.
Wear a mask if you want to, but don't ask me where it's.
Do you have that? Do you have it?
With the song?
Yeah, do you have the song with you? Can you look it up?
Yeah.
Dude, like, because like we can just play it. I'm sure the mic will pick it up.
Yeah.
And then people can hear it, man. Because it's great and it's worth like to have that on here. Who made the song?
So I don't know, some anonymous group or band. They did, right though.
And they did such a good job. The video and everything like that too. And like they just hit all the bullet points. Like, hey, wear a mask or not. If I'm not gonna wear a mask, stay 6 feet away from me. Straight up, just like this is what we're gonna do, and just be sensible about it.
Yeah.
And they're wearing like masks where you can't see their face. They have a mask with a mask on it.
Yeah, almost got it.
It's great.
Almost there.
Yeah, no worries. Let me know when you got it and
Alright,
we can
cool.
play it. So having that kind of stuff, like these creatives that are coming out of this time has been pretty amazing. But coming back onto like the academy and us wanting to stay open. Wait. You can't clarify that BBW means, but Coach Josh can say big black dildo. What does BBW mean? He said big beautiful white boy. Is that what you said?
Google
We
it.
know
Phil.
you. Google it.
We need
Google
you to
it.
put the answer back
Yeah,
on
you
here.
got to answer what BBW means.
Hey, you guys already know I got no filter. We got one that's PC, and I ain't that guy. No, I ain't that guy. You know what you signed up for.
Well, hey, but going on to like the academy and staying open and figuring out ways to open, like for me, like I had one of our business mentors like that I talked to. You know what he told me? He said, "Hey, if you can get your lease, just close."
Really?
So I could just close down.
Wow.
So close down, go to Norway. Straight up. And so I'm talking to
Is that
another
why you're
one.
filling out the immigration paperwork?
Well, I already planned on doing that. Of course, you got to put it on then. Now we got to talk about it. Oh man, but let's get on to that in a second. So, having like a place, a Muay Thai academy in Ventura that is productive, everybody's treated the same. We have a place where people can build a lifestyle and embrace like a healthy lifestyle together and have a sense of community, a sense of family. If you don't have that, it's so integral, along with like the health and the training, self-defense, having you guys there. You guys are all part of it.
Yeah.
So if we didn't, like for me, that's the reason why we keep it open. Like we took the PPP loan to keep things going, and like, hey, if this is gonna work, this is like, here we go, let's strap in. And we're gonna ride out to the end of the year to figure that out. But that's the main reason why I'm keeping this place open.
Yeah.
You know, like of course I love to train, but I can figure out different ways to train.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not stupid with my money. I had a savings for myself, like off of all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like of course that's not like I said, I was crying and freaking out about this stuff, having anxiety about it, but not being able to shut down has been just insane. And no, hold it, wait a second, okay? But just being able to have a place for us to be able to train, and the amount of work that's gone into this place over the past 5 years, like, man, like the impact in the community. Like, I have so many people that reach out all the time, like, man, we really like what you're doing. Like the principal from the high school even said he likes what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like people are really aware of what we're doing in the community, and for me, like, that's been our big marketing thing over the whole coronavirus. Muay Thai equal our church is what Phil says.
Yep, I see that too.
And it's the community thing and sense of belonging and betterment. And just having that in the community and utilizing that as a resource, like, you know, going from promoting, you know, USA Muay Thai, who's doing youth development and stuff like that, that goes in with our business, to shifting over to like human trafficking awareness, to building a healthy community and doing that stuff. And just shift, because it's like there's no Muay Thai events, so I'm not going to be pouring money into that. Like I don't have enough money to really pour into it like I was before. Yeah. And just be able to pivot and go through that. But let's go on to, you got the video? Yeah. Let's hit play.
So it's a whole video.
There's a whole video,
Yeah,
dude.
3.5 minutes.
Have you seen this?
I've heard the song, but it's the video.
Fire.
Okay. This is great.
Dude, somebody really put a lot of time
Dude,
into
no,
this.
this is, they probably worked on this whole shutdown.
Yeah, wow.
Nailed it.
Somebody just got really good at TikTok.
It's definitely like probably someone from TikTok.
I guess Crown Week.
That was a fit. Y'all see.
Karen's.
Karen's and Kevin's.
Yep.
Uh-oh. You just hear the thing.
That started happening after I installed TikTok, by the way.
Donald Trump. Okay, I hope you love this video. You guys watching on Instagram. What's up, dude? Guys scared me along. I love it.
Cheap noises. Very good. We gotta make some kind of follow-up.
They got it, man.
I wonder how many places they got kicked out of for showing him dressed like that.
Saw a mask. Someone was wearing Donald Trump mask going into businesses and they're like, just get out.
Trolling level.
So about wearing a mask.
Like those rubber Halloween masks.
Yeah.
Symbolize your control. I love this. Yes.
So you got like the rainbows behind it. I'll definitely post this in the show notes.
Thanks for protecting me. These guys are legends.
Yeah, whoever did it is solid. Okay. The sheep thing I think is funny too, and I feel it needs some clarification on it. Cause like, the thing is, most people I know, I'm like, hey, who told you to wear a mask?
Yep.
And there's no clear answer.
The deep state. Basically.
It's not getting to those kinds of theories, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's more like, you're not,
Media.
yeah, it's like who I heard from Fox News.
Oh yeah.
Or I heard it from
CNN.
CNN. It's like, okay, and did they say where they heard it from? They're like, well, no, they just said it. Like, man, do your research too and know why if you're gonna do it, and know like how you can stay safe,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, and how to be sensible during these times. So
they're saying if you repeat a lie enough times, it becomes the truth.
Yeah, it's like that game Telephone, right? It's like if I go off and say, hey, wear a mask, but only do it if you're sick, and then all of a sudden it becomes, hey, wear a mask,
Yep.
no matter what. For example.
No nuance.
Purple monkey dishwasher.
Yeah,
pass
put
it
monkey
on.
dishwasher.
Oh, yeah,
that's right.
that's right.
Yeah,
Pass it on.
pass it on. That game Telephone. So that's how it works. So to go on, you were asking me about the Norwegian.
I saw you post it on Instagram a couple times. I don't know. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if it was one of those like TikTok jokes you were making with
No, man.
but I saw
So-
that and I was like, oh, Norway, huh?
So I always planned on filling out my residence permit
Uh-huh.
there. Like me and Leela, that's part of the plan. But it's not to like. I guess you could call it my bug out plan.
Yeah.
It's
Plan
like,
Z.
you know, yeah, if Plan Z, our bug out plan, and if we had to bug out, like I want to make sure I can get the hell out of the country if we need to.
Yeah.
And I have my reasons for it, like not trying to freak anybody out, but I follow a lot of war reporters, and these are guys that look at countries that are on the verge of civil war, and they follow a lot of this stuff closely, and they travel.
yeah.
One of them, his name is Michael Yon. He's an expatriate of the U.S. He's former military. He lives in Bangkok now, or in Thailand. I think it was like near Chiang Mai. But he'll fly into these countries during Civil War and go document everything. And so he keeps his fingers on the pulse the whole time, saying, and so he's saying, hey guys, he's all out Civil War. He's like, it depends on what you mean all out Civil War is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, is shit gonna get weirder? Most likely. He's all, there's probably like a 90% chance.
Oh yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, getting weirder.
It's an election year. This all is happening. It's gonna get weird.
Yeah,
say that again,
and
bro. You
it's
say that again,
politics.
it's
In a
weird.
lot of countries, it's politics, straight up. And people are like, oh, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's like, man, everything with people getting weird has everything to do with politics.
Yeah.
Politics affects people in ways that you would not even imagine. I've seen it, and our country's really fucking good at it. There's a lot of other countries that hire our government to help them do the same stuff they do here, and that we do in other countries. So, just kind of, for me, like filling that stuff out. Before it was like my priority 6 or 7. Now it became priority 1.
Yeah.
Like we got up at like 5 a.m. and started filling everything out, and like talked to our friend that works over at immigration in Norway. Like, okay, like, she's like, yeah, fill it out, get the hell out of there.
Get the Rosetta
yeah.
Stone on track now.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife's not that big of a help. I try to speak it and she just laughs at me. So, this convo is making me think that you'll like the movie that's being released Tuesday, Pandemic. Okay, well, I'll check it out, Sarah. Thanks for plugging it. If it comes out and I can put it in the show notes, then I'll go plug it in there, too.
Isn't that a part 2 of the thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what she's talking about.
You know, for me, though, it's like, you know, Norway, they're back training. It's normal.
Yeah.
They did research during shutdown of like the spread of the virus in gyms and fitness settings.
Yeah.
Are they allowing Americans over there right now?
No. But if I have my residency permit, I can go.
Got it.
Yeah, if I have my residency permit, because we're married. So they have like Norway's pretty big when it comes into immigration rights and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of countries that if you can seek asylum there and stuff too.
Yeah.
So for us, it's called a family reunification like program that they have. It's funny because it was like, hi, can you describe the moment where you guys first met? It's like, well, she squared me in the ear with a squirt gun, you know, tiny ear. And it's funny like writing that stuff out and like talking about it because some of the stuff in there is like, would your family be mad at you if you didn't get married? And it was like talking about like forced marriages. Obviously, he's trying to figure out if you were in a forced or arranged marriage. So it's like seeing some of that stuff, like, whew.
She held me down at Songkran with a super soaker.
Yeah, and Sotu said, "You're gonna marry me. You're gonna marry me, motherfucker." That's not what happened, but just to clarify, just for the record. But like that's why I'm filling that stuff out because I just want to make sure. Like one of the things that we have to do for that is we'd have to go to New York and to go to the embassy there. I guess as part of like the final process. So I want to get all that stuff out of the way, and then that way, if we do have to bug out, it's not like, hey, I need to bug out now, but I have to wait 3 months. I want it to be like, hey, I need to bug out. It's going to take me 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So just to have that in my back pocket, and of course, that's not what I want to do.
Just a backup plan.
No, yeah, just backup plan,
Can I come?
dude. Yeah, you can
Ralph sneaks into the suit.
Want to bug out?
just bug out, dude. Hey, Carolina's got some friends. Let's get married. Shaking his head.
Force me into Norwegian marriage?
Yeah, but forced. He's like, did anybody force you into marriage? Yes, Jonathan Pu'u.
Yeah.
But like, you know, our mom's working on getting her dual citizenship or Irish citizenship, and you'll be able to get that too if she gets it. But just that whole immigration process is that shit's trippy. That stuff's trippy. But they actually have a really cool setup there. I guess if I take like Norwegian classes in the college, I can get like student loan. It's forgivable and like all. They make it really easy.
That's
like
cool.
you take Norwegian languages course and stuff like that, and they make it really easy like for me to go immigrate over there if I wanted to. I'm thinking about different business ideas to be able to run over there. I looked up like business entities.
Yeah.
Like I looked up with hey Gabby
What up?
on the Instagram. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Having like that backup plan I think is important, and it's like. You better believe Pu'u Muay Thai is going to be over there.
I was just going to ask, have you already looked at like what it'd be like to open up your own gym?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at like the first thing is looking at like business entities,
Right.
and like the thing is the business model over there. Like this is something again I've learned through like the business forums and learning through here. There's a bunch of guys who are at IFMA at the World Championships that have like pro fighters and all this stuff in IFMA, and they're fighting everywhere like. ONE FC and whatnot, and they're charging like $80 a month. You should see Ralph's face right now.
Oh.
Yeah, but the thing is, the price is very low. I don't know if they get government subsidies for these, but they're also not structuring the training programs to how we are. So like on like a presentation of like a professional level, I don't know if they're presenting it like and giving the same amount of service that we are. And I don't know if that if their culture wants that level of service, because Norwegians very much like shut down. Gabby wants to be in our video. Should I let her in? Let's see. Yeah, go live with Gabby. All right, Gabby, you're coming on. You hit it. You get to come in.
Bring pizza.
Yeah, vegan pizza, please. Vegan skmat. I think she hit it on accident, but we'll see what happens.
Hopefully she joins.
Going on to that, they're very much like not like saying hi to random people or having conversations. Swedes are more like that.
Right.
Swedish people are more like that.
Don't they have a really high suicide rate there though?
Where?
Norway?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and it's part of the lack of social interaction.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with the way the winters are, because it keeps you very isolated from people.
Be that one dude.
Yeah, this would be everybody.
Is that weird ass dude waving?
It's that crazy American guy.
Like, hi, friend.
Oh, Gabby declined. Oh, all right, Gabby. I see how it is.
My heart broke.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Going in, but like I think that's what it is. But I'm also looking at no one's doing like any like instructor training over there. No one's doing that, and I know that there's some demand. Like the people that were going to come over for training wanted to do instructor training, like leadership training. So doing something in that regard, in that capacity. Doing one-on-one training, I know would be like it could charge just as much here or there for one-on-one training. In regards to that kind of stuff. So I'm looking at different ideas, and I like doing more online stuff to keep that going. But again, that's more like a bug out plan. It's like if you see me get on the plane to Norway and saying, see you later, USA, I'm not coming back for like a year or two, then it's like, that's, yeah. Like I was even talking to my brother, I was like, hey, if you end up staying here, like maybe we transfer the gym to you or something like that. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't come to that.
I like the idea of my family all living in a relatively within 2 hours of each other. Ideally,
well, that's 10 hours away by flight.
Yeah.
But it's like if I end up being there, I think it's after like 2 years. I think I can get citizenship.
Okay.
And then you could apply. You know, it's like family. You come in on family reunification
Gotcha.
stuff. So, like I said, it all depends. There's a lot of different ways to cut it.
Yeah.
That's why I asked the question. I saw you like paperwork and then Facebook pictures, like him with a little Norwegian flag.
Yeah,
and
probably better.
I was like, oh.
I gotta tell you too. I'm gassing that shit up a little bit too.
Yeah.
Because like people need to know like this is what I'm being pushed to. It's like I don't want to do this.
And everybody's gonna get pushed to that too.
Yeah, and well the thing is, it's like people love being here. It's like, hey, then fucking support, motherfucker. Like you know, like do share a post on Instagram, on Facebook. Tell me you miss us. Like, you know, message the front desk, call us, like, hey, how you guys doing? Do it, reach out. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we reach out to people all the time. Like, remember we used to come in every Tuesday at the end.
Phone calls. Now
phone
it's
calls.
A lot of Instagram.
Yep. So, because everybody's in front of their phones.
Yeah.
And it just, to be able to do that, like, our big thing is community and reaching out. So it's like, hey, if our community doesn't want us, all right, bye. You know, we could all get together and train somewhere else.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that is true.
You know, the people that like training, we can get together and train somewhere else if we needed to.
We had a good amount of people jump back in the last month, though.
Yeah, and that's what's changed my mind. You know, we had a number to hit and we hit it.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, oh crap, all right. Well, the market's still there.
And the enthusiasm was definitely there. And there were some people who jumped in, like, oh my god, I wanted to learn Muay Thai for years, specifically Muay Thai, and now I have the opening in my schedule to dedicate, you know.
Well, and that goes into what I've been pushing into with Muay Thai training and with making videos, video content, and stuff like that too, is to keep that market open for everybody. And to make like a platform for everybody to be on, for promote our students, promote our fighters, athletes, coaches, promote programs that we're doing, give out free content. Like, of course, it's just all about giving. I want to just give. Yeah. It's not about cramming. Like, hey, buy this. You know, it's like, hey, how can we give back? And again, just like we do here in the academy, yeah, people pay tuition and enroll in a program, but for us, we want to make sure that people are also able to do that outside of the academy in some way, and they feel that love that we can give here, like on the internet too. You know, such as like the book I wrote for preparing for your first Muay Thai fight. Like I was gonna write that just for the coaches, and then shutdown happened. Like, well, shit, I might as well publish it because I don't know if we're gonna open.
Yeah.
We miss you too, Gabby.
Definitely.
We miss you and the fam. Tell your dog Bella I said hi. Give her lots of pets. And that's the reason why we've continued on keeping that stuff up, because if we didn't have like a platform and we just closed, then it's just like people wouldn't know how to connect with us.
Yeah.
You know, we wouldn't be able to keep on making marketing content somewhere else if we did. You know, to keep like the brand going. Like same thing, like we made like these lifestyle shirts and stuff like that.
Putasos.
Coach Ralph made the Pu'u shirts.
Yeah.
These are badass.
You can have one. I just waited.
So, what's up, Nick?
Cinnamon Toast
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah, you got Nick on Instagram with his husky
buddy.
life, yo. But I guess like that's been the big thing. It's just like how can we keep that going, and how can we keep promoting Muay Thai and put it in a productive manner and put good information out, like how like our style of Muay Thai, like how we teach, how we instruct. Like I've been putting out like basic series videos, and those have been like the most like popular videos that we post.
Right.
Besides the one of me punching my wife in the face.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. She
Which
deserved
I-
it, I swear.
It had all the Chinese bots liked it.
I think
yeah.
Russia stole it, and we're like, hey, check this out.
Hey, dude, look at this comrade in America.
Comrade.
Oh man. So, for us, that's why we're gonna keep on that and keep pushing and promoting that stuff. Me and Coach Josh were talking about having a series, me and my wife training each other on our YouTube to do more instructional stuff. It's pretty much her kicking my ass, like strength and conditioning wise.
Right.
And then also me training her in Muay Thai and going through more technique in that aspect. For those of you that are listening out there, my wife's from Norway, obviously, if you couldn't figure it out by this point. For those of you on Instagram. And she's foreign. It's funny. Stuff gets lost in translation sometimes.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Hey.
Just kidding.
And she's like, we're married? What? But she's also one of our trainers here and stuff too for our strength and conditioning. So if you guys are here Tuesday, Thursday, 5 p.m., strength and conditioning class, come check her out. She's doing we started a new program, it's the executive training program. We're doing like completely customized training programs. It's like for me, it's like if we have to completely shut down, I can still do one-on-one training.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who are asking for like a more comprehensive personal training program, and like for Muay Thai. So like she's gonna be writing up like a whole strength and conditioning program. They get like a private lesson with her once a week, a half hour, and a half hour with me once a week. So they get 2 private lessons, and then they get like personalized program to do at home and everything too.
That's awesome.
Text messaging, contact, video chats, all this whole comprehensive program for them that we're customizing on like a monthly basis. So if anybody's interested out there, contact us at muaythaiventura.com. You can shoot us a DM on Instagram and stuff too. But it's something that we're trying to build it out a little bit. And one of the reasons I'm doing it too is I want Coach Ryan up at Santa Barbara to be able to start running it also. Because for him, it's like, they couldn't do what we did because they're not in their own building. They're sublease position, and they had a restaurant inside, so they had to obey everything to the T.
Tough.
Very, very hard. But I guess that's really it. What I wanted to go over today, guys. You guys want to say anything to anybody out there?
Thanks for everybody that's been coming in.
Yeah.
As we've been open, it's more motivating for us as coaches to see people like high intensity energy, bringing it in. Just, it makes you want to keep the doors open.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
I've had pretty at capacity classes, or even one where it was over capacity and we had to send at least one guy off. Fortunately, he's part of leadership and he volunteered, so I didn't have to make a difficult decision. But I've felt some of the intensity for the classes bump up I could feel the energy in the room that was like almost like pre-shutdown vibes. I'm like, oh, cool. And of course, our numbers reflected that.
Yeah.
I was starting to feel.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. I've invested a lot of time. I know Ralph, you of course as well. Already freaking shredded. So people need to get more of that health. Stay fit, copy what Ralph does, minus the knee thing. But
Just don't limp.
Yeah.
No
Pimp limp. We need to get you a
That's
cane,
what
bro.
happens when you hit your 30s.
All right, guys. Well, everybody have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in for those on Instagram, anybody on YouTube. over on Spotify, iTunes. Share the podcast, guys. Comment on our Instagram. Make sure to interact on the student Facebook group and all that stuff. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody soon. Have a good rest of your day.
Peace, guys.
Bye.
See you guys.